Tyler was cussing me for going to get my haircut. It was even worse.
Matthew, you're gonna have a problem picking me up from here. Will I be okay?
We're just gonna have to do the best we can.
Okay. Good evening. Okay, welcome to our Butler County Board of Education meeting, and today is March 19, 2020. And before we get started with the meeting, I need to read a letter, and that could change things for anyone who decides that they want to be here or not. So before I call the meeting to order, I'm going to read this letter from our superintendent. And this letter is dated, is it April 20th? No, this is from our superintendent. This is from Superintendent Joe Island. Okay. It says, Dear Mackenzie School family, earlier today we were contacted by a parent of one of our students stating that the parent has a confirmed case of COVID-19. While it is unknown when this parent contracted the virus, this family was advised by the Alabama Department of Public Health to contact everyone that their family has had contact with over the last 2 weeks. Therefore, out of our responsibility to you and your family, we're sending this notification to inform you that students attending Mackenzie School and staff members may have been exposed to COVID-19 through contact with this student. We encourage you to monitor yourselves and your family for the following symptoms: fever, cough, body aches, shortness of breath. If you should develop one or more of these symptoms, please call your doctor or nearest urgent care for guidance. If shortness of breath is severe, seek emergency treatment via an emergency department, but please call ahead or call 911. Please make them aware of potential exposure. If you have a confirmed case of COVID-19, please email Mr. Island at joe.island@butlerco.k12.al.us or call 334-382-2665 extension 1100 and leave a message. Please continue to practice social distancing by remaining at home with your family unless it is for work or obtaining essential items like food and medicine. Practice good hand washing and respiratory etiquettes for coughs and sneezes. Should the family member develop the symptoms listed, please isolate this person from other members of the family and your pets. As we look ahead to the date when school will resume attending classes at Mackenzie School, we've already begun the process of disinfecting the campus before students return to school on April 6th. The CDC website, and I will give that to you if you need it, is an excellent resource to find reliable answers to your questions. We encourage you to educate yourself on what you can do to protect yourself and your family. Please know that we have only your safety and well-being at heart, and we'll continue to monitor the situation and provide updates as needed on our website, and that is, of course, our Butler County website. And this is signed by our Superintendent Joseph Island. So please act accordingly. So at this time, I'm going to ask if you would stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance and for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Mr. Superintendent, will you establish a quorum for us?
I will. Linda Hamilton,
Present.
Michael Nimmer. Here. Lois Robinson,
Here.
Brandon Sellers,
Present.
Mickey Jones. Keith Hamilton.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Of course, I think you all probably know why our conference room is set up the way it is. We are trying to practice social distancing, and that is why I am standing, so that I can give a little bit more space between us there, because we're taking this very, very seriously. And we hope that you will do likewise. So the first item of action on our proposed agenda is the approval of the agenda.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Robinson, I recommend approval of the revised agenda dated March 19, 2020.
We have a recommendation from our superintendent for approval of the revised agenda. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposes, nay. The agenda, the revised agenda has been approved. Next item of business is approval of minutes and payroll.
Yes, ma'am. I recommend approval of the minutes of the February 22, 2020 regular meeting and the February 27, 2020 meeting, special call meeting and payroll.
Okay, we have a recommendation for approval of the minutes as said. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposes, nay. Minutes and payroll approved. Item 4 is the report of fundraising drives and requests for use of the school buses included as an informational item for us, no action required. So we will move on to our financial report.
Ms. Robinson, I recommend approval of the financial statement and reconciled bank statements for January 2020.
Okay, we have a recommendation from the superintendent for approval of our financial statement and our reconciled bank statements for January 2020. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposes, nay. Item 6 is approval of budget amendment number 1.
Ms. Robinson, I recommend approval of budget amendment number 1.
Okay, we have a recommendation for approval of amendment number 1 to our budget. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposes, nay. Item 6 is the personnel report with attachment 1. I'm sorry, item 7, personnel report with attachment number 1.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I recommend the approval of the revised personnel report dated March 18, 2020.
Okay. We have a recommendation for the approval of the revised personnel report. May I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposes, nay. Item 8 is the approval of the contract for Principal Jacqueline Thornton, who is the principal of W. Palmer Elementary School, with attachment.
Yes, ma'am. I recommend the approval of the contract for Ms. Jacqueline Thornton, principal of W. Palmer Elementary School.
Okay, we have a recommendation. Is there a motion for approval of the contract?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposes, nay. Contract approved. Item 9 is the McKenzie School Diploma Signature Authorization, and I would ask Mr. Superintendent, if you would expound on that one, please.
I would. Generally, our board president signs all for all of the diplomas in Butler County schools. I've seen similar things happen in other counties, especially in Crenshaw this year. Our board member has a senior, Mr. Jones's son, Kagan is graduating, and we are recommending that authorization be granted to Mickey Jones to sign the McKenzie School diplomas.
Okay, so we have a recommendation from the superintendent in light of the statement made concerning Mr. Jones's son. If Mr. Jones would be granted authorization to sign diplomas for the McKenzie School. May I have a motion?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Congratulations, Mr. Jones.
After 10 years on this one, I think it's just getting awesome.
Item 10, I'm sorry.
Historic topic.
Statement, Mr. Jones, you want to make a statement?
Well, I'll probably wind up with a diploma.
Yeah, okay, true. Item 10 is the approval of health textbook adoption.
Mr. Robinson, I recommend approval of Fish Park Wilcox Health Textbook for middle and high school as recommended by the Health Textbook Committee.
Okay, you heard the recommendation from the superintendent for the health textbook adoption. May I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Item 11, emergency board resolution. This is a suspension of policy. This is in light of the issue at hand concerning the coronavirus, that we as a board may loosen our hold and allow the superintendent to make some decisions as he deems necessary without having to have a board action on it. So, Mr. Superintendent, it doesn't seem like you should make that recommendation. It seems like it should be a board recommendation. And so I'm going to ask if a board member would make that recommendation.
I will make a motion to adopt the board resolution entitled Emergency Suspension of Policy.
Okay, we have a recommendation from a board member concerning the adoption of the emergency board resolution suspension of policy. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Oh, sorry.
Then is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All in favor say.
Discussion.
Okay, are there questions or discussion?
Duration, it will automatically go out of service once school starts back, or
Once they lifted the declaration.
once the state has lifted it there? Okay, I just want to make sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, but I just want to be sure of
Good
that.
question. Thank you.
I want to clarify too for the public. Mr. Allen is also going to be in full communication with the board about.
That's
things.
exactly right.
This is just so if he needs to make a decision, split moment, we know those decisions have been coming every single day this week because of the virus, that he can make that decision and move forward, so we're not lacking to put anybody in harm's way or anything in the school system.
That's very true.
So he can act in the best interest of Butler County Schools without having to convene the board, because sometimes the way things are going right now, how fast things are moving, there may be things he's just gonna have to do, have
There's an
to act
issue
on.
that 3 of us have to social distance at home, and we can't have quorum. I mean, there's
Very
a
true.
whole bunch of
So,
what ifs that,
So this allows us to cover our bases and we still function on behalf of our school system.
good luck, Ms. Dunn.
Okay, so all in favor of adoption of this emergency board resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Opposes, nay. Resolution adopted. Item 12 is legal update. Mr. Hamilton.
With regards to the pending litigation, which alleges discrimination and hostile environment and other things, due to the pandemic and lack of travel and court systems and all like that, all depositions that were scheduled for tomorrow and on the 31st have been canceled until after April the 6th, at which time they'll be rescheduled. So, and no dates have been discussed at this point in time. There is a pending motion by the plaintiffs to ask for additional time for discovery. And only this week they named several new witnesses they allege they just learned about, but they all happen to be principal employees of the board that they've known about for more than a year. So it's not exactly that they've got much to stand on, but the pandemic is going to buy them some amount of time, but they just put off 4 depositions that were going to have to be taken anyway, and they were also fixed to have to go to Mississippi next week to take Dr. Stricker's deposition. He told him he spent all the time traveling for their benefit and none for his. So next time that they wanted to do his deposition, they're going to have to go over there. And so everybody decided, those that were going at any rate, decided it wasn't a good idea to be hitting the road. So 2 other matters that haven't reached the litigation stage. Mother of a student slipped and fell at the door of the central office and went to see a lawyer about her injuries because she didn't have any health insurance and wasn't able to obtain the recommended treatment. And there seems to be some dispute factually as to how it was, and I've written to the lawyer telling him that there wasn't going to recommend to you at any rate. So I took the liberty of telling him that we didn't have anything we could offer him at this point in time. And I'm going to try and have a conversation with him tomorrow to say that I didn't put in writing that, look, if you want us to consider something, you're going to have to give me more than you got some lady slipping on the, going in the front door wearing flip-flops and tripping over the threshold. I'm sorry, it's, kind of looking out for your own good and safety, you should. We have another allegation. I think I think you probably were aware of it. It first arose at late last fall when Dr. Stricker was still here. We had a teacher at the high school who was complaining about what her lawyer has described about national origin discrimination, as well as a hostile environment based upon maltreatment by the students in her class. We made a rather large demand at the time, which was rejected. We countered with a relatively small sum, which they rejected. And late last week, I got a letter asking if we would mediate the case. And I asked him for a suggestion so I could get some idea about what this person that he might be interested in would charge, because mediators charge for their services. And I haven't heard from him, and it may just be because of everybody closing down because of the virus. So I really don't have much to say. That I really thought the case had just kind of gone away because the teacher got another job at, I think, in Huntsville or somewhere like that, where she didn't lose, any pay or any time other than she decided she didn't want to work and said the environment was such that, as a practical matter, it might as well have been we fired her, which I think was probably going to happen now anyway. But that's out there pending, and I'll be hard pressed to tell you to spend a whole lot of money on a mediator, because they're going to charge the same or more than what you're paying me and what she's going to pay the other lawyer. So it just doesn't, at this point in time, I don't see the economics in it. If I thought it would result in something, and maybe the lawyer needs the mediator to help convince her that she ain't got much of a case, which I don't think so. But I'm going to press him on that and maybe have something, to report a little more concretely on that issue next time around. If I get pressed a little early, I'll communicate with y'all about letter or email telling you what I think and get some direction from Joe and y'all as well, so.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Okay, so the last item on our agenda is
I'm
adjournment.
sorry.
Okay.
Okay, I'll be quick. My family and I would like to extend our heartfelt appreciation to those of you who extended prayers and acts of kindness since the passing of my brother LaDon. Some of you even called me several times just to see if I was okay. So I sincerely thank all of you who reached out for caring. Thank you very much.
And yes, Ms. Hamilton, I'm sorry I didn't mention that. There was a meeting for, I know that we have communicated as well. And we do sincerely offer our condolences and being caught up in the situation with the coronavirus. They even had to cancel the memorial that was planned for this Saturday because of a large gathering that was anticipated. So it's really unfortunate at a time when you're going through a painful situation such as this. You can't say your goodbyes together, but it's uncharted waters that we're treading right now. We've never been down this road before, and we don't know where to go from here. And so I would just encourage each of us to take it very serious and practice safe hygiene as much as we possibly can. Continue to keep Ms. Hamilton and her family in prayer as they adjust to their new normal. And even our McKenzie family, and we don't know where it goes from here. That's just the first that we've heard of. But let's just continue to keep each other in prayer as we proceed forward and be as safe as we possibly can. And with that, may I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Consider yourself adjourned, and we will see you again.